Right. Exercise 5.2. There we go. Quickly mark number 1, A, B, and C. Yeah. Right. Any questions at A? Just remember that because we're dividing and bases are the same, I'm going to subtract exponents. So you do not have to show that middle step where I say 8 to the power of 5 minus 3. You could have skipped to just saying 8 to the power of 2. That's fine, but you've got to write the third one as well, because the third one is actually where you get your marks. Okay, at B, 2 to the power of 12 divided by 2 to the power of 9. Base is the same, and we are dividing, so I am going to subtract my exponents. So base will stay 2, and then the 12 minus 9 gave me 3. So 2 to the power of 3. At C, you will see that both my bases are 36. So when I subtract those exponents, I get 36 to the power of 0. Now anything to the power of 0 is 1. Okay, can I skip? Hands up, you're still copying? Okay, quick. No, but once we're done here, I'm going to call you one by one, and then I can give you a test. I'm going to call you one by one. Right, thank you. I'm skipping. Right, so 72 over 9 simplified is going to give me 8. Then 8 to the power of 3 divided by 8 to the power of 2. Because I'm dividing and base is the same, I'm going to subtract my exponents. So 3 minus 2 means my final answer will be 8a to the power of 1. Now just this once, I wrote at A that power of 1. But do we have to write it? No, it's not necessary. You'll see at B, I did not write it, because if nothing is written there, we automatically assume that it's actually a 1. Okay? Right, at B, 121 over 11, or minus 11, gives me negative 11. And then A to the power of 8 divided by A to the power of 7 means that my bases are the same and we are dividing. So what I do is I subtract the exponents. So A to the power of 8 minus 7. Okay, and that gives me minus 11A, or actually minus 11A to the power of 1. Okay. Can I skip? Hands up, we're still copying? Okay. Done. Right, there's C. Minus 120 over 15 gave me minus 8. And then A to the power of 5 minus 1, because we're dividing. And then B to the power of 1 minus 2. Please remember that we take top exponent minus bottom exponent. Now, you will see that here I get B to the power of minus 1. Now, you could have left it like that. That's fine if you stop there. I'm just showing you, and we're actually going to do that now. What happens to that B to the power of minus 1? I put it at the bottom. Or if you use cancelling out method, then this would have been your final answer. Okay, but either that or this is correct. Okay. Any questions? Okay, then at 3A, that to the power of 5 applies to everything inside the bracket. So you'll see at the top and the bottom, my base is the same because both of them has got ABC as a base. So I keep my base ABC and then I say top exponent minus bottom exponent. And 5 minus 5 gives me 0. People, you have to write that 0. I had a previous class now saying they said the answer is just bracket ABC, close the bracket. Why is that wrong? Because when I write ABC and brackets around it, what do we assume would be over there? A 1. And 1 is not the same as 0. Okay. So you have to write this 0 there. And then anything to the power of 0 is 1. Ooh. Right. Any questions? Can I skip? Okay. There's B and C. So over here, I use the combination of the first and the second law. So at the top, that 2 to the power 3 times 2 to the power 5. Because my bases were the same and we were multiplying, I was allowed to add those exponents. And the 3 and the 5 together gave me 8. You guys fine with that? Okay. And now when I look at this, 2 to the power of 8 divided by 2 to the power of 2 means that I must now go and subtract the exponents. So that's how I got 2 to the power of 6. Okay. Right. Then at C, same thing. This 3 to the power 3 and that 3 together will give me 3 to the power of 4. Who doesn't understand that part? You guys fine? Okay. Yeah? This is 3 to the power 3, and that's actually 3 to the power of 1. So when base is the same and we multiply, what do I do with exponents? And the 3 plus the 1 gave me that 4. Okay. Right, the rest stayed the same. Now, I'm grouping the ones that has got 3 to the power 4 together. If you maybe saw they're the same and you just canceled them out, that's also correct. Okay? And then these 2 to the power 4 over 2 to the power 2. Because we're dividing, you will see that I subtract exponents, and that gives me 2 to the power of 2. Now, this 3 to the power of 0 is actually 1. No. So that's why that kind of falls away. So my final answer is 2 to the power of 2. Or, different method, if you wanted to say that these are the same, so they cancel out, then it means I only work with those. So you're just going to have that and then the final answer of 2 to the power of 2. Either one of the two options. Okay. Any questions? All right. So now, yeah? See when you say 3 to the power of 0, when you add the bases? No. We never add the bases. That 3 to the power of 0 is actually 1. So it's like 1 times 2 to the power of 2. And that stays just 2 to the power of 2. Okay. Right. Can I skip? Okay. So now I just want to quickly run through a few things. You'll see that I wrote a 3 in blue. When I just give you that, blue, purple, okay? When there's no exponent given, you have to assume that that is actually a 1. So if I were to give you x, and there's no exponent, that's the same as x to the power of 1. All right. Then, another thing is, anything to the power of 0 will always be 1. So, if I give you x to the power of 0, I don't even have to know what x is, because it can be anything. It doesn't matter. Anything to the power of 0 will still give me that answer of 1. So even though I don't know what x is, I know my final answer will in any case be 1. Okay. You guys good with that? That came out of quite a few of the homework. Okay, but it sounded like you guys knew this already. Yes, you were taught this in grade 8, yeah. Okay. Anyone still copying? Okay. You're not copying at all, are you? Okay, so for those of you that are still waiting, your next heading can be negative exponents. Hands up, we're still copying? Okay. Right, next one. Negative exponents. Now, let me just close this a bit so you guys can't see everything all at once. Right. Okay, so at negative exponents, if I were to give you the purple, a to the power of negative n, that is actually the same as a to the power of, or 1, a to the power of negative n, over 1. When we get a whole number, we can always put it over 1 if you want it in the form of a fraction. No. Okay, now what I want you to remember about negative exponents, and you were taught this in grade 8. Yeah, we did do negative exponents, didn't we? Yeah, I think so. Okay, so when you want to change the sign of that exponent, you can move the exponent with its base to the other side of the fraction. Now, currently, this one is at the top of my fraction. So I could move it to the bottom. No. And then it will become, what's left at the top then? 1 over, and 1 was there, then a to the power of positive n. But this 1 in front, you don't have to write it. You don't have to, but if you want to, you can keep it there. Does that make sense? No. Okay. The previous class also didn't understand completely until we got to the third example, because you're going to see what I mean. So basically, in a nutshell, what you must remember is if you want to change the exponent, then if it was at the bottom, you take it to the top. If it was at the top, you take it to the bottom. Okay. But that doesn't, it only changes the sign of the exponent.
So then it's going to turn positive.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, right. So over here, look at the second one. Can you see now my base and my exponent is at the bottom of the fraction. So if I want that exponent to be positive, I'm going to move it to the top of the fraction, which means that it would be x to the power of positive m, and I'll actually over 1. But do we have to write it as over 1? Now we can just say this.
So that's the final answer.
That's the final answer. You start seeing it now? Okay, it's going to get better the more we do. What about it? Yeah. Okay, can I skip to the next page? Okay, let's look at this one. Now, in the previous example, I said specifically what moves to the top or the bottom? The exponent and the base. What do we call it? The base, right? So, who wants to guess? What would I move over here?
3x.
Ah,
The x.
there we go. That M only applies to the x. So can you see that that 3? Is that going to move? No? You only move the exponent and its base. Okay, right. So, what would that then be? Okay, wait. So, at the top we had 2. No. At the bottom, we said the 3 is not going to move, so the 3 will stay. But we said this will have to move to the top. So then it becomes x to the power of positive m. Does that make sense? That's your final answer, yes. Okay, let me skip back. The previous one, listen, the previous one, that is what moved up. So if there was a 2 in front, it would look like this, because the 2 is not allowed to move. Okay. Yeah? There is a 1 in front, but we don't write it. Have a look. I put a 1 in front now, but so it wouldn't be wrong if you wrote it like that, and you could even write it like this. No? But we don't usually write it over 1. We just give the whole number, and we don't usually write the 1 in front, so that's why I just say x to the power of m. But it won't be wrong if you put it there. Okay, right? Yeah. So the 3 you'll see stayed at the bottom. No. We'll do more. We'll do more. Okay. So, but are some of you starting to see it? Okay. Right. So what I'm doing now is over here I'm giving you a half. And I'm asking you to write it in exponential form. Meaning I want you to write it as a base with an exponent. So currently it's a fraction. No. Now that 2 is actually 2 to the power of 1. Okay? I don't want it in a fraction. I want a base and exponent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this to the top. And then what would it become? 2 to the power of? Sign changes. Sign changes. Minus 1. Okay? Okay. Okay. No. No, listen. This is a fraction. Bajo, Kazi. This is a fraction. Okay, so the half is actually a fraction. Right? Okay, and I want it in exponential form, meaning I want it to look like this. I want a base, and then I want an exponent. No. Okay, and this base has got to be a whole number. So I've got to try and get it from a fraction to a whole number. And the only way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to take this 2 to the top. Right? So don't write down yet. I want to show. So at the top we had 1. No. Okay? Now at the bottom it's actually 1 times 2. So the 1 will stay there. The 2 to the power of 1 will move up. So become 2 to the power of minus 1. No. But do we have to write 1 times that? No. Okay? Do we have to write the whole number over 1? No. So let's take that away. That is why it will be 2 to the power of minus 1. Okay, let's look at the next one. Okay. And remember this, we can double check on our calculator, no? Okay. Right, so the next one, 3 to the power of minus 3. I want you to write that with a positive exponent. No? Okay, so first things first, this is the same as 3 to the power of minus 3 over 1. No? Now, when we want to change that exponent, because I want to make it positive, I'm going to take this, the base and the exponent, and I'm going to move it to the bottom. So I will then have 1 over 3 to the power of positive 3. The 1 is like a placeholder. I can't have that. No. So instead of writing nothing at the top, I've got to have 1 over. Okay. Yes. Hold on. Yeah. Yeah. That's fine. Minus 3 and? That's what we just did. Oh, you mean just the exponent? Because that exponent and the base is one thing. Hulle is vas aan mekaar. You can't separate them. No, this is my base and that is my exponent, and together they move. If there was? Wait, I want to get a clean page. You're saying 33? Yeah? Like this? Okay, now, that minus m applies to the 33, no? The 33 is my base. Okay, so I'm going to move this whole thing to the top. So then your final answer will be the 2 was there times 33 to the power of positive m. And it's actually over 1, but we don't have to write the over 1.
So ma'am, that x was times the
So,
yes. Yeah. Do you now get it? No, you stop. We don't multiply. This part is important. Listen to what he's asking. Can I say 2 times 33? No. Because when I do that, I'm making that power apply to both the 2 and the 33. And that to the power of m has got nothing to do with this 2. So that's why I can't go and multiply them. Okay. Good. Great. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. The sign of the exponent changes, not the sign of the base. Yeah. The exponent changes. Okay. Right. So is everyone fine so far? Okay. Last example. Right. Over here, when I've got a bracket to the power of minus 1, now that power actually applies to everything inside the bracket. Do you guys agree? So this is the same as 3 to the power of minus 1 over 4 to the power of minus 1. No. Okay. Now I'm asking you to write this in positive exponential form. So I don't want negative exponents. Meaning the 4 will have to move to the top. And then it becomes positive 4 to the power of 1. Do I have to write to the power of 1? And then this 3 will move to the bottom. So 3. Wait. When you want to change the sign, listen, it's very simple. When you want to change the sign of the exponent, you swap it to the other side of the fraction. The brackets was just to tell you that that applies to the 3 and to the 4. Okay, if there weren't any brackets, then it would probably look like this. No? So now who does that minus 1 apply to? Only to the 3, which means that that's going to move. The 4 stays. Times, yeah? 3. That, but it would be 1 over. So it's going to look like this. Because we can't just have, wait. We can't just have 4.3 to the power 1. There's nothing here. I can't just have nothing at the top. So we'd say 1 over.
Also, you can write the sign.
Say again?
You can write the sign. X times.
Yeah, you can write multiply, yeah. Are you guys fine? It makes sense, no? Okay. Right. So your homework will be exercise 5.3. That's on page 44. You do number 1 up until 4. Now, excuse me. It says at the exercise, simplify the following. So when you get to something like this, have a look. If my answer was 1 over 2 to the power 3, I want you to simplify and say that will be 1 over 8. Okay, so don't stop just with the exponents. Okay. Yeah, 2 to the power of 3 gave me that 8. Okay. Right, that is it. I'm going to stop the recording.